Greetings. Today, let us start this session from law number 11 onwards. Law number 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. One of the most powerful ways to secure your position in any field, it is by making yourself indispensable. When others depend on you, your influence grows, and so does your security. This is what this law is all about. Becoming so valuable that people cannot function without your contributions, without your knowledge, or without your skills. How do we achieve this? The answer lies in cultivating rare skills and knowledge, something that others rely on. It's about mastering something that is so crucial to the organization or to the community or to the network you are part of that they can't afford to lose you. In life, true power lies in building relationships where people rely on you for your guidance, for your support, and for solutions. This principle, it teaches us to make ourselves indispensable. When people depend on you, they value your presence. They value your presence and they are less likely to challenge you. It's not about controlling others, but about becoming a source of strength and source of trust that others naturally lean on, creating a lasting bond of influence. We often hear about independence as the ultimate goal, but what if I told you the secret to true independence is making others dependent on you? Before we dive in, let's agree on one thing. That's power. Power is not about brute strength or flashy titles. Real power lies in creating a web of necessity where people rely on you for their happiness, for their prosperity, or even survival. This is the essence of law number 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. History gives us remarkable lessons. Otto von Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor of Germany, he was not born with a throne. He didn't command armies directly, but he controlled the kings. He created relationships where rulers depended on his wisdom, his strategy, and his political acumen. Bismarck became indispensable. The man behind the throne, quietly pulling the strings. The beauty of this power, he was not the king, but wielded more authority than any other. Let me share why this principle is practical, not manipulative. This is not manipulating, but it is practical. In our lives, whether it's in relationships, workplace, or friendships, the more valuable you make yourself, the harder it is for people to let you go. But here is the kicker. Don't make yourself easily replaceable. Teach them what they need to function, but not enough to thrive without you. It's not selfish, but it is a strategy. For example, think about a key employee in a company who has mastered specialized knowledge. Their absence would cause disruptions. Their absence would cause delays and maybe even losses. Such people are not just working a job, they are building their value every day. They are indispensable. So, why wouldn't an employer go out of their way to retain them, offer promotions, or give incentives to stay. And this does not apply to career alone. This not apply to career alone, even in personal life. Even in personal life, being the rock someone depends on makes you irreplaceable. But here is a twist. Dependency is not about manipulation. It's not about manipulation. It is about creating mutual benefit. When people trust you as the one who makes life smoother, they hold you close. You might be wondering, is not this risky? Won't dependence make people resent me? The answer is perhaps. But fear is often more reliable than love. When it comes to power. When it comes to power. When it comes to power, fear is often more reliable. If people fear losing you because you are the glue holding things together, their actions will align to keep you around. Think of Louis XI of France, who spared the life of his astrologer simply because the astrologer made himself irreplaceable. The astrologer thrived while others fell to the king's pins. Now, there is the actionable part. There is the actionable part. If you want to live this principle, start by finding your unique value. What skill, what knowledge, or what ability can you offer that no one else can? Own it, protect it, and use it wisely. Seek out opportunities where your expertise, advice, or presence, it becomes a need rather than a choice. At work, integrate yourself so deeply into process that removing you seems unimaginable. In relationships, offer unwavering support while subtly reminding others of how much brighter their lives are with you in them. But remember, don't overplay. Don't overplay your hand. Dependency is a delicate balance. Don't create complete reliance. It leads to resentment. Instead, aim for interdependence. Let others need you while you benefit from their success. Let me conclude this 11th law of power. Let's conclude in this way. The world runs on necessity. The world runs on necessity. People rarely act unless compelled by need. When you learn to become the solution to someone's problems, you hold the key. You hold the key to influence. Keep people dependent on you. Not by force. Not by force. But through your unique value. Through your unique value. And you will find yourself with the freedom and power to shape your destiny. So, this is the 11th law of power. Now let's move to 12th law. Let's move to 12th law. That is, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. At first glance, this law may seem to encourage manipulation, but in reality, it's about using the power of occasional honesty and occasional generosity to build trust and lower the defenses of those you want to influence. By showing moments of vulnerability or giving, you disarm potential opposition or create goodwill that can be leveraged later. Generosity doesn't always have to be about money or grand gestures. Sometimes it is about providing your time. Sometimes it is about providing your knowledge or providing your kindness when others expect you to be self-serving. A small act of honesty or generosity, it can break the ice and allow you to win people over, making them more likely to accept your influence in the future. the power of selective honesty. The power of selective honesty and the power of generosity. It is an incredible tool to build trust, dismantle defenses, and influence even the most suspicious individuals. A single genuine act of honesty or a heartfelt gesture of generosity, it has the ability to erase skepticism and more people drop their guard. This principle is not about deceit or manipulation, but it is about timing, it is about strategy, and it is about understanding the emotional dynamics of human behavior. And let's begin with a simple truth. Humans are wired to respond to sincerity when someone offers an unexpected gift, admits to a fault, or acts with apparent vulnerability. It creates a sense of connection. The receiver feels safe, the receiver feels respected and even obligated to reciprocate. This is how selective honesty works. It is not about being truthful all the time, but it is about choosing moments to reveal a truth or give a gift so effectively that it opens the door to trust. Consider M.G. Ramchandran, the legend MGR, a celebrated figure in Tamil Nadu's history. As an actor, as a politician, he understood the power of giving before taking. His welfare schemes such as free midday meals, they were not just acts of charity, they were Trojan horses. They were Trojan horses of goodwill. By winning the hearts of the people with these acts of generosity, he built an unshakable bond with the mass, ensuring their loyalty and trust with these charity schemes. His selective honesty in addressing public grievances, they made people believe in his leadership even when larger political strategies were at play. So now let's talk about take the example of Ramakrishna Hegde. Ramakrishna Hegde, who was the chief minister once in Karnataka, he used selective honesty to disarm his critics and opponents. As Karnataka's chief minister, he openly acknowledged his mistakes in his administration. A rare move. It was a rare move in politics. His admissions of his mistakes or his admissions of his administration mistakes, it softened the ground for his reforms and policies, making even his detractors acknowledge his integrity. This approach not only strengthened his leadership, but also showcased how a well-timed act of honesty, it can make people more forgiving and more trusting. One of the most striking example of this principle in action is the story of Count Victor Lustig, a master con artist. He was a master con artist, Victor Lustig. He deceived the notorious gangster A. Capone. Lustig borrowed $50,000 from Capone, claiming he could double it in 60 days. Instead of running away with that money, he returned. He returned it untouched. Apologizing for the deal of falling through. Capone, surprised by Lustig's apparent honesty, gave him $5,000 as a reward. Lustig disarmed one of the most ruthless men of his time by employing selective honesty, approving the immense power of this law. This principle works because it appeals to the core of human emotions. Trust and discipline. When you give before you take, you soften even the hardest hearts. a timely gift, or an honest admission. It creates a moment of connection that disarms cynicism and suspicion. However, this law demands caution. If your sincerity feels forced, if your sincerity feels forced, or your generosity appears calculated, it can backfire spectacularly. People resent being manipulated and will respond with distrust and anger if they see through your intentions. The key is to make your honesty and generosity appear heartfelt and natural. Build a reputation. Build a reputation for these acts over time so that they form the foundation of your relationship. Once you establish yourself as someone who can be trusted, you will find it easier to influence. You will find it easier to lead. Selective honesty and generosity, they are powerful tools, but they are not weapons. Use them to build bridges, not to deceive or not to exploit. In politics, in business, and in life, these principles allow you to inspire loyalty, foster collaboration, and create meaningful connections. When used wisely, they demonstrate that strength is not always in dominance. It often lies in the ability to touch hearts, and earn trust. In the end, what you give to others returns to you, multiplied by the relationship and goodwill you build along them. So this is the law number 12. Now let's move to law number 30, power of law. The law of power 30. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. Have you ever asked someone for help only to feel ignored or dismissed or even humiliated? It is not because people are inherently unkind. It's because often we don't understand the art of asking. Asking for help is not about pleading or guilt tripping or reminding others of your past good deeds. It is about understanding a universal truth. People act when they see something in it for themselves. Let's face it. We are navigating a world where self-interest is a powerful motivator. The key to mastering this law is to stop focusing on your needs and start thinking about theirs. Imagine you are trying to get an ally on board for a project. If you approach them talking about your struggles, your goals, and your desperate need for the assistance, they might politely nod, but their mind will drift elsewhere. Why? Because you are speaking your language, not their language. Now flip the script. Show them what they stand to gain, perhaps prestige, perhaps profit, recognition, or even the satisfaction of solving a problem. Suddenly, the dynamics changes. They are no longer just helping you, they are advancing their whole cause. That's when enthusiasm replaces indifference. Take history as our guide. When Portuguese missionaries, they tried to convert the Japanese in the 16th century, they relied on lofty ideals of religion and salvation. But they failed. They failed to appeal to Japanese rulers. The Dutch, on the other hand, they focused purely on trade and practicality. Guess who won? Guess who won the emperor's favor? The Dutch. Why? Because they aligned their interests states. So they won. Let's go further. Let's go further back to Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, he was ready to annihilate China. He was ready to annihilate China, viewing China as nothing more than barren land. But a man named El Chutsai, he appealed to his self-interest, suggesting taxation instead of destruction. He suggested taxation instead of destruction. This practical, profit-driven argument saved cities, lives, and even cultures. Genghis Khan didn't show mercy because he suddenly developed a conscience. He acted because his greed was triggered in a way that benefited him. In our daily lives, the principle is the same. When you ask someone for help, understand what makes them tick. Are they motivated by power? Appeal to their ambition? Do they crave for public recognition? Give them the chance to shine. If they value morality, frame your request as an opportunity for them to act virtuously. Think about it. The world is not run by ideals alone. It's run by people. It's run by people with desires, run by people with fears, and run by people with motivations. When you align your needs with their interests, resistance melts away. This is not manipulation, it's a partnership. It's about creating win-win situation where everyone benefits. But here is the nuance. Not everyone responds to self-interest in the same way. Some people don't. Some people don't. They don't want to appear greedy. They want to feel noble. Give them that opportunity because they want to appear noble persons. Give them that opportunity to exercise their generosity in a way that makes them feel good about themselves. Others might prefer a private arrangement that enhances their wealth or influence. The trick is knowing your audience and tailoring your approach. To truly master this art, we must learn to step outside ourselves. Most of us are so consumed by our own needs that we forget to see the world through someone else's eyes. But if you train yourself to think from another person's perspective, there are no limits to what you can accomplish. When you need help, don't ask with desperation. Don't appeal to guilt. Don't appeal to guilt. Instead, speak the universal language of self-interest. Make it clear. Make it clear how your success will contribute to their success. Understand their desires. Appeal to their needs and watch as they respond with enthusiasm. Because, my friends, when we learn to appeal to others in ways that benefit them, we unlock doors. We unlock doors that would otherwise remain closed. So, this is the law number 13. The law of power 13. Now let's move to law of power 14. Pose. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. This law is about gathering information and understanding your environment. Sometimes life demands strategy. Life demands strategy more than sincerity. Imagine you are in a jungle surrounded by predators. In such situations, survival is not just about strength, it is about intelligence. One of the greatest tools we have as humans is our ability to adapt and gather information. That's why this principle, pose as a friend, work as a spy. It has power. This law has power when applied with precision and morality. It's not about disease, it's not about deceit, it's not about cheating, or it's not about manipulation. It's about navigating challenges wisely. Let's understand the essence of this idea. Spying in its true sense is not just about collecting information, it's about observation, it's about patience, it's about strategy. The world is full of competition, whether in business or in politics or even personal relationships. To thrive, you must know your environment, your rivals, and sometimes your own allies. Knowledge is the greatest weapon, and sometimes it is hidden beneath a handshake or it's hidden beneath a friendly smile. But let's clarify one thing. This is not about malicious or manipulation. It's about protection. It's about preparation. It's about progress. Imagine you are part of a team and someone in the rival camp has plans to undermine your success. Wouldn't you want to know their next move? If you don't, they hold the upper hand. And let me tell you, in moments of survival or intense competition, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is dangerous. History shows us countless examples where understanding the enemy's mind, it has led to remarkable victories. During the Second World War, the Allies decoded Germans' messages. They decoded Germans' messages through the Enigma mission. That was not just intelligence, but it was a strategy. It saved lives and turned the tide of war. So, how can we apply this idea in our daily lives? First, listen. Listen more than you speak. When you let others talk, they reveal their intentions, they reveal their desires and even their weaknesses. Second, observe patterns. Observe patterns. People leave clues about their behavior, their decisions, and motives in their actions. Third, use this information ethically and for constructive purpose. If your intention is to build and defend rather than destroy and manipulate, you are using this power wisely. But there is a twist. Don't become the very thing you are protecting yourself against. Never let strategy turn into cruelty or never turn it into manipulation for personal gain. If you are engaging in this approach, it should always be to safeguard your goals or prevent harm. And remember, in a world filled with noise, in a world filled with deception, it's not just about knowing others. It is about knowing yourself. If you can master your emotions, if you can master your reactions, if you can master your intentions, no one can manipulate or outsmart you. The real power lies in being alert, being strategic, and being ethical. As I conclude this law, think of this as a chess game. The goal is not just to win, it's to play with wisdom. Pose as a friend. Pose as a friend, not to betray, but to understand. Work as a spy, not to harm, but to protect. Life rewards those who are both kind-hearted and sharp-minded. So, gather your knowledge, protect your goals, and always use your power for good. Now, go over there and make your moves. The world is your chessboard and it is your turn. That is the law of power number 14. Now let's move to law number 15. Crush your enemy totally. Crush your enemy totally. The principle here is about addressing the threats and opposition in a way that ensures they can't come back to haunt you. Sometimes merely defeating an enemy is not enough. To maintain your position, you must ensure that the opposition is thoroughly neutralized so they cannot return with renewed strength. This law is not about brutality. This law is not about brutality. Okay? But it is about being thorough and being decisive in resolving conflicts. Imagine a blazing fire. If you extinguish it halfway, leaving just one smoldering ember, it will reignite, spreading destruction when least expected. Life works the same way. Challenges, adversaries, or doubts we fail to crush completely have a way of coming back stronger, often when we are at our most vulnerable times. So we should be very cautious. This is not just true. This is not just true in war or politics. It's true in business, personal growth, and even within our own minds. History, as well as the wisdom of strategies like Sun Tzu, he has shown us that victory demands finality. Half measures don't work. Mercy, hesitation, or compromise in crucial moments, they often pave the way to downfall. Here, let's see a story. Let's see a tale. Take the tale of Liu Bang and Jiang Yu from ancient Chinese history. Jiang Yu, a powerful but impulsive warrior, he had countless opportunities. He had countless opportunities to eliminate his rival Liu Bang. Yet, time and again, he hesitated out of arrogance, out of mercy, or out of indecision. Each time, Liu Bang escaped. He growing stronger, he was growing wiser, and he was more prepared. Eventually, Liu Bang crushed Jiang Yu completely, not just physically, but in spirit, ending his reign and paving the way for one of the most celebrated dynasties in China. What can we learn from this? First, hesitation. Hesitation is the enemy of progress. When Jiang Yu faltered in the decisive moments, he allowed his rival to rise. In our lives, hesitation might look like leaving a task unfinishing, forgiving a destructive habit too soon, or letting go of a goal halfway. Each of these actions, they leave room for failure to regroup and attack us again. Second, lenience. Leniency toward your challenges or adversaries, they can backfire. It's not about being ruthless to people. It's about being uncompromising with the forces that hold you back. Whether it's fear, whether it's procrastination, self-doubt, toxic relationships, they leave these embers alive. They will allow them to smolder and grow. Success demands that we crush these completely. We should crush all these negative things completely with no room for resurgence. Finally, complete resolution builds momentum. When you fully overcome one obstacle, it fuels your energy to take on the next. Liu Bang's decisive victory over Jiang Yu, it was not just about survival. It established his dominance. It established his dominance and strengthened his resolve to achieve greatness. This is how empires are built, careers are transformed, and personal greatness is achieve. Here is the truth. Half-hearted efforts, they lead to full-scale failures. Whether it's an unfinished goal, unresolved conflict, or a lingering doubt. Anything left halfway, it will rise again, more determined to defeat you. Crushing your enemy totally is not about cruelty. It's not about cruelty, it's about clarity. It's about clarity and decisiveness. It's about knowing what must be done and seeing it through to the end. So let's ask ourselves, what are the enemies we need to crush? Our enemies are our fear. Is it fear? Is it self-doubt? Or is it distraction? What are our enemies? Is it a toxic habit or is it a challenge we have avoided for too long? Let's not stop halfway. Let's not leave embers smoldering. Let us light, leave band. Let's rise. Let's rise from wherever we are, whether we feel like peasants or barriers, and crush every obstacle that stands in our way. Remember, the fire you fail to extinguish today might burn your house down tomorrow. Act decisively. Act decisively, act boldly, and act completely. Because greatness does not come to those who hesitate. It comes to those who crush their enemies totally. This is not just about external enemies. It is a call to conquer the battles within ourselves. Every fear, every doubt, every setback you crush today, it lays the foundations for the empire you will build tomorrow. So go ahead, take control and leave nothing unfinished. The world belongs to those who dare to finish what they start, fully and complete. So with this session, we have completed 15 laws of power. In the coming session, we'll see the remaining. Thank you.